Welcome to the last tutorial for how to create a Proton Escape app. We have already done all of our proton coding and our neutrons are in there as well. Now it's time to put some electrons on our game. So the electrons, when they are tapped, they are going to lead to a new screen that says try again. So we're going to go ahead and make that screen by clicking add screen. We're going to call it try again. And I capitalize the T and the A. That's important when we do our coding. So just remember that. So now I have a new screen and I'm going to put a label on there that says, oh no, you tapped an electron, try again. So we're going to be taken to, I'm actually not sure if I made one. Sometimes when Thunkable gives you trouble, it's just a really good idea to press refresh. I'm going to try to add it again in case I didn't actually click OK there. But if you have weird things like that happen, just click refresh. And yeah, so these kind of error messages, it's always a good idea to refresh your screen. So all right, we've got try again. I'm going to pull a label over that says something like, oh no, you tapped an electron. And then we're going to have a button that says try again. So I'm going to drag a button over. I'm going to put try again on that one. And you can change the color, the font, all of that stuff if you want. Okay, so this button needs to go back to the game, right? So they can start playing it again. So we're going to do when button 1 is clicked. In the control section, we open a new screen. And that screen is going to be called, what do you think? It's going to be called game, so they can play that game again. All right, so now let's go back to put the electrons in there. So we're going to go to the game screen, and believe it or not, we are going to add 6 more balls. So right now we have a total of 18 balls. We're going to be up to 24 balls, which is a lot, but I'm sure you can handle it. So we're going to go over here and add 6 more electron balls. For the electrons, I would like those to actually stay at 5 this time, and I'm just going to change them to be green. And I'm going to make 6 of those total. So I'm going to pause the video and let you guys make your 6 electrons, which will be balls 19 through 24, and they're going to be green. You can leave the radius at 5, and I'll see you back here in just a minute. Okay, so you should have 6 electrons here, and since electrons are way smaller than protons and neutrons, I decided to leave the radius at 5. You could change that if you want, that's totally up to you. Balls 19 through 24 should now be here, and they should be green and smaller than the protons and neutrons. The next thing we have to do is program these electrons to move, and we're going to do that the same way that we programmed the protons to move. So we need to call a procedure. So I'm going to go over here to procedures, and I'm going to make a new one, and I'll put it right over here. We want to make the balls 19 through 24 move to random locations as well. So I actually can duplicate this and bring it over, and this will actually be ball 19. And I'm going to do that 5 more times, and it's going to be 19 through 24. Now, the reason we are doing this is so that those electrons can move all over the screen to random locations as well, just like the protons. And that will make it more difficult for the user to try to get the protons and collect them back into the nucleus. Because what will happen is when they touch an electron, they'll be taken to that try again screen, and they'll have to start over, which will be nice and frustrating, because what fun is a game if there's no frustration involved sometimes, right? Okay, so I have 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So those are the last 6 balls that we have on our canvas, and they are going to move to random locations when we call this procedure. Now, I'm going to actually name that one electrons, all right? And we're going to get another timer and say when clock 2 timer, call electrons. So let's go back to designer and go to the sensors section again. Pick up a clock, bring it over, and you'll notice that there are now 2 invisible clock components. This timer interval, I like to make it faster than the protons. I'm going to do 500. So every 500 milliseconds, they're going to move. So I'll go back over here now. I have a clock 2 timer. When it is started, we want to call the electrons procedure. So let's go back up to procedures, call electrons. All right, so now we've got protons flying everywhere. We've got electrons flying everywhere. I'm going to show you a way to organize a little bit. I'm going to right click on these two blocks and collapse them. It doesn't mean that they're going anywhere. It's just we're going to hide it so that we have some more space because we still have one more component that we need to code. We need to make it so that when one of these is tapped, it opens this screen, try again. So let's go back into blocks and we're going to go down to ball 19. And when it is touched, when ball 19 is touched, we want to open a new screen. So under control, open another screen, and that screen name is try again. So we'll get this text block up here, and we're going to say try again. Remember, I capitalized the T and the A, and this is where it matters. All right, so we're going to right click and duplicate that for 19 all the way through 24. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. So 19, 20, I'm going to keep going. And then when this part is done, your app is ready. You can make any changes to it that you would like. So for example, if you want to change the colors, if you want to change the background color, the fonts, bold, size, all of that kind of stuff, you want to make all of your finishing touches on your app, and then you want to test it again. When you get to the point where you are sure that your app is ready for people to use, instead of testing it, you're going to export it. So this is all the coding that you need. It's got everything in there. Your app is finished. If you have extra time, you can challenge yourself and figure out if there are any other elements that you would want to add to the game or to the app itself. But when you're done, instead of testing with Thunkable Live, you're actually going to go to export. And what this does is it gives you two different options. You can do the top option, which gives you a QR code that you can scan and put directly on your mobile device. But that QR code is only active for 2 hours. So it's going to pull up a QR code here. It will only allow you to scan that for the next 2 hours. So it's not a good option if you are not near the device that you want to save your app to. But if you are near the device, it's a perfectly fine option. If you want to save the app and email it, say for example to a family member or a friend that has an Android device, you would do the second option under export. So I'm actually going to close out of this because I'm not going to save this right now. I'm going to do this option instead, which will save my .apk file to my computer, which is a finished app package. It's going to save it to this computer, and then I can attach it to an email and send it to someone that I know, and they can open it on their phone and download the app to their phone, and it's a completely usable app. There is one thing that I did not show you how to do, and I think we have time for it. Let me just check. Yep, I've got about a minute. I will explain it to you. You can see that app downloaded right here, so that's what you would attach to an email. The only thing that you might want to add to your app is an icon. So if you click on Game right here under Components, the little circle that or image that you tap on a device to open your app is called an icon, and you can change that icon by clicking on the game itself and then choosing an icon image. And for some reason, I'm not seeing it here. It's not background image. It should be icon image. Well, I'm going to have to figure that out, and I can let you know. But for now, I guess we have to skip that. Let me pause the video just for a second. Okay, I figured out my problem. It's not on this screen that I want to do it. I need to go back to screen 1 because that's where my app starts. So when I have screen 1 selected, on the right over here, I can scroll down until I see the icon right here, and I can upload an image and then say okay. So that's something that you could think about adding to your app if you want. I'm sorry that I did not have that the first time.